Hello, awesome crew. How's everybody doing? I'm going to share 7 tips with you today regarding stories. So how do we use, this feature, Facebook stories to, maximize curiosity and intrigue and, build our business through Facebook stories. Now, I've got an error message on my screen. Am I live, guys? Let's see if you guys are commenting in, because I've got an error message and I can't see any comments coming up. So let's see what's happening over on my page. Sorry about the interruption here, guys, but I'm not sure that I'm actually live at the moment. Let's see what's happening over on my page. I am live. Okay, so good to know. What's happening on my phone and what's happening on my computer is 2 completely different things. So let's just check if you guys are here. Yes, you're here. Okay, I'm not sure what's going on with my computer screen, but it's not talking. It's not doing the same thing as my phone. So how is everybody going? Comments have stopped and everything. Oh, well, I can see that I'm live, so I will keep on talking. Just if you can let me know if someone can actually just clearly say, I can hear you and I can see you, that would be helpful because there's strange things going on technology-wise. I might look at this rather than looking at that. So what I was saying, and I'm not sure if it was recording or not. Yes, thank you, Dita. I think you've just commented in that everything's, oh no, that's delayed from there. Man, this is really strange. But if you can let me know that if someone can just comment in that you can hear me and see me, massive delay from my computer to my phone. So I'm not sure what's actually going on, but I'll keep talking and hopefully the comments will catch up. I'm going to share with you today, this is a very messy start to this live, but I'm not sure what's going on. There's a massive delay with communicating with you guys. Numbers are going up, then they're going down. I'm all good. Okay, Olive, I'll just keep going. So I'm going to share with you 7 tips. You should see what's happening on my screen. It's really weird. It's just not normal. So it's hard to tell whether I'm live or not live, but you're telling me I'm live. Olive said I can hear and see you. So I will just keep going. Gotta love technology, don't you? We're in the hands of the internet and, software. We can't do much about it if it's not working properly, but it's all good. So thanks guys for your comments in to let me know it is all good. So 7 tips to help you maximize Facebook stories, because this is one of the most powerful tools in 2020, in this day and age in social media. We've got stories on Facebook, we've got stories on Instagram, they've got stories now on LinkedIn, I believe, and they're bringing in, if it's not already in, on YouTube. Like this ephemeral, quick story type content is something that we're going to see more of. Now, you can create a lot of curiosity, intrigue, and help build your business, and there is a lot of people in the network marketing world that are killing it through Facebook stories. So what I'm doing at the moment and this week is that I'm doing a boot camp in my coaching community called What's Working Now. So yesterday we went through a whole lot of cool stuff regarding modalities of what's working now, like what types of posts, and a whole lot of topics that we can talk about. We brainstormed and it was awesome. And thank you to those of you that are in the coaching community for your effort yesterday. It was amazing, day 1. And day 2 and day 3, which is after this live and tomorrow, for an hour or so each day, we're really concentrating on Facebook stories. So again, you guys that are not in the coaching community are getting a little sneak peek to some of the tips, but we're going to go into depth in Facebook stories today and tomorrow regarding different features that you can use, different strategies that you can use, words, posts, things like that to maximize, curiosity and intrigue for you regarding Facebook stories, but also how do we sort of turn that into building a business on Facebook stories? What are some of the things that we can do and say to help, build those connections and relationships to have people join us in our business? So hopefully you are using Facebook stories. I'd love to know. I'm curious who is and who isn't using Facebook stories, and to what extent. Like just put often, like if you use stories often or maybe occasionally, or if you're one of those people watching or on the replay that's never used stories, I'd love to know that as well. So never use. So, often, occasionally, never use. So like words like that to give me an indication of where you guys are at. If there is somebody watching or catching the replay that we haven't met before, my name is Helen Martin. I'm your online crew captain. So I am here to serve our awesome, amazing online crew community here of entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, direct sellers, those in network marketing, MLM. And what we do here on this page is learn how to use modern social media strategies to build our business online and truly attract people to us, because we don't want to chase people to join us in our business. We don't want to drag people kicking and screaming or even convince anybody. If you have to convince somebody that your business is the best thing since sliced bread and you've got this and that in you, if you really convince somebody, they will become a major problem for you in your business. So we truly want to attract people to us, get people to put their hand up saying, I'm interested in what you've got to offer. So those kind of things. So before I get into the content with Facebook stories, and those of you in my coaching community, please identify yourselves. How did you find yesterday, day one of the boot camp? If there's anybody listening, watching, catching the replay, it's not too late to join us in the coaching community for this boot camp of what's working now regarding posts on social media, types of posts, types of topics that you can discuss, conversations that you can create. We went through a whole lot of foundational stuff yesterday and today and tomorrow, but it's all recorded. So if you can't join us live, you can watch the recordings. There is a link up above regarding all the details you need to know to get into the coaching community. So anybody can join in. So who is here? We've got Michael, had a cancelled job today and I'm here instead. Much rather be here with a fantabulous crew. I'm glad you're here as well, Michael. I'm sorry your job got cancelled, but it's always awesome to have you here. Michael is a life member in our coaching community. Hello, Crystal. How are you? We got Olive here, life member. Crystal is a life member. How are you all doing? Crystal is asking, I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm not sure what you're overwhelmed with, Crystal, but if it's like the online business, the business world, social media, life, all those kind of things, it's okay. Give yourself some grace and space to be overwhelmed. Just a bit of a tip for that, Crystal, the only thing that resolves overwhelm is to clear some space in your mind and work out what are your priorities and put down a plan of action. When we're overwhelmed, you got too many pieces of information coming in at once. You're looking at this, you're looking at that, you're doing this. You might have family issues and kids and business and, you're overwhelmed with a number of things. So just break it down and work out what's most important first and do that. Leave everything else. Just put it on the back burner and make a little plan of action for yourself about what's more important and prioritize, because otherwise we can get stuck in overwhelm. So unless you clear the clutter and all the things that are coming at you, you can stay in overwhelm, which is what we don't want to do. Hello, Adita. Lovely to see you on. We've got Beth here as well. Faye, good morning. Hello, Charlene. Yes, so I think you guys, the comments finally came up that I was here. You're all good. Thank you for bearing with that at the beginning of the live. There was very strange things happening there. So appreciate that. Hi, Helen. Good to see you. I can hear and see. Thank you. Hey, crew. I can see you. I am going to get at least a mile walking while I listen. My day all messed up. I'm listening. So it's good to listen and walk and multitask in that way. Thank you, guys. How are you, Gloria? We've got Cynthia here as well. I had a messy start to my live today too. So it's not only me. Smile and keep going. That's all we can do. Look, at the end of the day in the online world, we are in the hands of the internet connections, software, those kind of things. Often things go wrong. You can do dual lives with people, interviews, and things don't go well. It just, in the scheme of things of life, if things don't go according to plan, it really doesn't matter. And people are far more forgiving than you think they are. So you just roll with it and smile and go, I can't work out if I'm live like I was doing on my phone. I think I'm here. I'm not quite sure. Like, it really doesn't matter in the scheme of things if you mess things up because technology had a hand in that. Like, it's just not something to stress about. Just smile and just work your way through it. You're kind of breaking up in and out on my end. So is that the same for everyone or is that just Crystal? I'd love to know. Hey, Tina. Often. So this is stories, often on, more when I have an exciting life. And this is the interesting thing with stories. this is the same for, I'll give you a tip here. This isn't one of the 7, but it's the working the algorithm. The algorithm, and just to clarify, the algorithm in your newsfeed and the algorithm in Facebook stories is a completely different algorithm. It's just a completely different place that we put content, different types of content, different strategies around the type of content and how often that we post. So some people will say, well, how often should I post in stories? Post as often as you like. If you're a serial stories poster, it might get a little bit too much, but it's totally different in the algorithm. So you really want to pace yourself on the newsfeed because your own content can compete with itself in a newsfeed. Like, you really don't want to have any posts, you know, any less than 1.5 to 2 hours apart. But in stories, you could have one straight after the other. Like, it really doesn't sort of matter. But in both places, where Facebook favors the algorithm with you and it has all its signals firing off to work in your favor is when you're consistent. So the best thing that you can do in your newsfeed is have a strategy around consistency, as well as getting into the habit of stories, because this is the kind of content that's going to continue moving forward, this ephemeral kind of disappearing type content. But what Facebook doesn't like is, you know, things are exciting. And I mean, this goes with life, but things are, you know, you got it more exciting, you're out and about, your story, and then you don't post anything for a week. Same as your news feed, something exciting's going on, or you've got a new wave of enthusiasm and you're on it and you're posting and you're scheduling things in advance and you got interesting content, and then you disappear for a week. Facebook does not like that. So the more that you can learn to be consistent, the better off, you know, you will be as far as, you know, the algorithm. But it is life. I'm no different to you guys. I'm on and off depending what I'm doing. I forget, I get really busy, and I've got perfect opportunities, you know, to do stories all day long with the people that I talk to, the strategy calls, the things that I do, even though it's at home, like it's not very exciting, but it's sharing my world with people, and I still forget to do it. So we're not perfect, but if we can get into the habit of some consistency, it will help. Okay. Heather, using stories daily on business and personal page. Well done. Sorry, I just lost my place there. Hang on. Okay, I think I said hi twice. That's okay, Beth. Yes, I am now since I've been watching you. My day is messy too, Steph. I'm really overwhelmed right now. So the other thing, Crystal, is don't take offense to this, but stop telling yourself you're overwhelmed, because it'll stay overwhelmed. So one of the things, so that's not having a go at you in any way. You know how much I love you, Crystal, but it doesn't help when we continue to tell ourselves that we're overwhelmed. So we need to shift our focus in, okay, I am overwhelmed. That's not ideal, but how do I shift that? Because we can stay overwhelmed for too long when we keep telling ourselves, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm so overwhelmed. It delays the progress with putting an action plan together to get out of overwhelmed. So that's just because I love you, Crystal, and I want to help you move forward. Okay, so Crystal does stories quite often. Hello, Monica. Yay, I got out of work on time to be here, only a little late. I had a messy start anyway, Ford. I didn't even know whether I was live, so you're all good. Yesterday was so great. The day one was awesome. Always learn new tips and useful info. Thank you. I'm stepping up stories 3 today. Awesome. I had to have a nap today so I could stay awake for tonight. Whatever works, Gloria. Often. Hello, Patricia. Use them all the time. Excellent. Yesterday, I am always overwhelmed. Now, just take on board what I said to Crystal. The online world can be completely overwhelming, but we don't want to convince ourselves that we're always overwhelmed. Overwhelmed, go to bed. I use stories every day. Yesterday's training was very useful, already implementing the strategies. So good to hear that, Anya. Tomorrow is a special day. I'm off to see 2 grandchildren tomorrow. First time in months. That is so exciting. Make sure that's in your stories. Yes, good advice, Helen. Smile and keep going. Absolutely. Hi, all clear here. Thank you, Mel. Crazy part is I had someone completely new comment at the end that he would like info on the live video challenge. So my messy start must have not scared him away. And this is the thing we need to remember in stories, in lives, you know, things like that, is we get worried about being messy. We get worried about technology not working, whatever. People really don't care. they actually don't care as much as you think they care. People don't worry about us as much as we worry about ourselves, honestly. So we tend to stress about things that we really don't need to stress about. Crystal, I've been doing lots of different things and now lots of good things are happening and I feel like I've got more than I can handle. Thank you for support. So just prioritize as to what you need to do first and what can wait, Crystal, if you're taking, things on. Oh, Dita, I spent the whole day in hospital but still going. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're okay. And whatever it is that you are recovering, okay. So please send Adita some love. Can you do stories on your business page? I'm posting stories on you. Absolutely can. I will be going through that in the boot camp, how we do that. Overwhelmed in a positive way. Oh, good to hear that. Overwhelm is not a bad thing, actually, guys. Being busy can actually mean you're more productive. How many of you can relate to that? I was just having a conversation. I was just on a mentoring call with a student. And we're just having that exact conversation regarding how sometimes being busier can actually make you more productive. And, that saying that when if you want something done, give it to a busy person. There's good reason for that. Okay. Now let's get on to the content for today, these 7 tips. Okay, so this is really around a bit of knowledge regarding Facebook stories. If you don't already know, I'm not going to assume anybody has any knowledge. For those that are new, real newbies on stories, you may pick up something with these 7 tips. You may already know them. So it'll either concrete what you already know, or it'll give you a new piece of information. So the one thing I just want to make sure when you're viewing stories that you guys know how to sort of navigate them. The first thing that you want to know is how you can pause them if you want to, move forward or move back. So if you are looking at somebody's stories, so you are going into, your Facebook stories section here, and it's got, people's stories in here. I can click on, let's just click on mine. Do you like my face from yesterday? Still got this terrible toothache. So, oops, I want to go back. So I'm just going to, it's already gone past. If you want to stay on somebody's story to read something because they've got too much information on it, just hold your finger down on the screen and it pauses the story, in case you didn't know that. If you don't particularly resonate with the story that you're watching, if you tap on it, it will tap forward. But if you want to go back and look at somebody's story, which is a great signal for the algorithm if somebody is tapping back on your story. If we tap over, so what that would be right. If I tap on the right side of the screen, I can tap forward. If I tap on the left part of the screen, it will actually go back. Okay, so on my right side, tapping forward, that was to somebody else's. And if I tap on the left side of my screen, it's actually going to go back to the person before or the story before, things like that. The other thing I can do, so I'm just going to pause that, is while you're on a story, there may be stories that you don't want to see. Maybe somebody's getting really political and you like the person, but you just want to mute them for a while. Maybe there's finally when we get sport back to normal, there's a sporting game on, somebody and love is going ballistic in their stories and you just don't want to see it anymore and you want to mute them for a while. While you're in their story, before it finishes, you can actually click those 3 buttons, 3 dots up near my son there. And, this is my video, so that's not going to work. I need to choose somebody else's. Hang on, who else? Cindy. So I love you, Cindy, if you're watching. This is no offense. So if I click on the 3 dots while I'm in Cindy's story, which is actually a picture of Amber, that's not Cindy. See how it says mute Cindy? So if there are stories or there's somebody in your life and they're coming up all the time, but you don't want to see their stuff for a little bit for some reason, maybe you've had an argument with somebody, you don't want to see their stuff for a while, you have a bit of control in stories in relation to what you see. So you can mute people if you want to through those 3 buttons. You can report somebody if you feel the need to. It shouldn't really happen in stories. But you do have a little bit of control in stories regarding, if you want to pause on somebody, move forward, move back, mute somebody. So just know that those things are sort of available, to you. Your strategy, minimum strategy, this is still not one of the 7 tips, but your minimum strategy should be to have, so when I go to my personal profile, I'm not sure why that's not showing blue because I have lots of active stories at the moment, but that should be blue. So I wonder why that is. Don't know. But generally, let's go to somebody else. Who's got an active story? Let's pick on Olive. So Olive has got a blue ring around her face, which means she has an active story. So your goal is to have at least one story in a 24-hour period of time to have the blue circle. So then you can appear, and when people go to Messenger and maybe see who is active in stories, you'll have the blue circle around your name. So for some reason, mine's not showing active, although I only did that one a few hours ago. So there's something weird going on this morning. But I can see Becky's got one, Amy's got one, Whit's got, Whit's got one there. So you want to have that blue circle around. The more stories that you do, where is that? The closer you will appear up here. So I would encourage you, unlike the news feed where you don't want to overdo it, you can have lots of stories, and the closer that you are here to this person, so this is me, obviously, I've got my personal profile stories at the top. I've got my business page, you can see there, add to your story and add to my pages story. I do believe some of you still can't see that option, which is a shame because it's pretty cool. I can do it straight from there, whether I want to go to my personal page or my story. Those of you in the boot camp and the coaching community, I'll show you ways around that if you're not aware and you don't have that sort of option. So who have I got first? I've got Paulina. So I'm not sure when Paulina did that, but she's got an active, active story. So these people that are appearing right next to my profile are those that are more active in stories. So if you want to have more of a presence on stories, get more people to look at your stuff, you want to be more active so it pushes your stories in front of everybody else's, because eventually it'll be pushed down. Okay. So the 7 tips. Okay. So this is strategy. Begin with the end in mind. So what is it you're trying to achieve on stories? We'll have a lot bigger discussion around this in the coaching community, guys, after. But begin with the end of mind. I'll just leave it with that. What is your strategy in stories? If you are building a business, what do you want people to know about you? What do you want to share? What curiosity and intrigue do you want to create? What business opportunities do you want to let people know are there? What products do you use? Like, just think, what is, begin with the end in mind. What's your strategy around stories? So it's good just to share for the sake of sharing, because the second tip is just let people in. Let people get a glimpse of your life. So we do want to have strategy. So begin with the end in mind. Where is it that you want to end up with the people that, you put in content in stories for? And secondly, let people get a glimpse to your life. It does not need to be glitz, glamour, going out, dressing up, looking $1 million, having a really active lifestyle. It's none of that. It's behind the scenes. It's letting people get a glimpse of your life. Some of you will know that have watched my stories. I have a terrible toothache at the moment, and I'm sharing that on social media. Who wants to know about my stupid toothache? I don't care. I'm letting people have a glimpse into my life about what's going on for me. And I've got some awesome remedies that people are bringing forward for it. But it's just a glimpse into my world. And, thankfully there are enough people that there's, some great people that care enough to message back and go, oh, have you tried this remedy? Well, it's awesome. But it's letting people know what's going on in my world. So let people get a glimpse of your life, and don't try to be picture perfect, because it's not relatable. I said it yesterday, people resonate with your mess more than they resonate with your perfection. So you want to let people resonate with your mess, but not to the point of complaining or things are all going wrong, or you're looking for a pity party, you're struggling with things all the time. Like, you don't want to overshare things that are going wrong, because you could create that impression, oh, they're complaining again, they're upset again, what's going on in their world now? Like, there's always something. So you want to be real, raw and authentic, but you don't want to always be sharing, the tough things that are going on in your life to the same degree. But you do want to let people have a glimpse in your life. So one, begin with the end in mind, have some strategy around Facebook stories. Again, coaching community will have a deeper discussion about this in the training shortly. 2, let people get a glimpse into your life, no matter what it is that you are doing. Some of you are not doing stories because you think you've got a boring life. It doesn't take an exciting life to share people about who you are, what you're thinking about, what you're up to, what you're doing with your kids, what makes up your day, that kind of thing. 3, stay away from gimmicks. So what I mean by that is turning, stories into, here's the latest sale of the month. It's gimmicky things. You're doing the same strategies that some people are doing on the news feed. You're just moving it over to stories now. So gimmicky things, selling things, trying to use that platform as another opportunity to push your stuff on people, like, salesy type posts. 1, there's generally not enough time for people to absorb that information. It's just not the right place for it. You can create curiosity, intrigue, which is what we want you to do, but we don't want you to be gimmicky in Facebook stories because it's losing the emphasis of what stories are for. Okay. The 4th thing, aim for people to read whatever it is that you've got written in your story in about 2.5 seconds. So in a story, people have got on average about 5 seconds to absorb what you've got written there. And you can underdo that people get bored and they tap forward. Or you can really overdo it that they don't know where to look and there's so much to read that they can't even get through it in 5 seconds. So when you're creating a story, aim to have whatever you've got on it that people can absorb that in about 2.5 seconds. That's about the right time frame for people to absorb some information on a Facebook story. Some people write way too much on their stories, and there's written words down here and there's written words up there. And regarding formatting and words and placement and stuff like that, we'll go through that in the boot camp. So that's number 4. Number 5, videos on stories is, depending which platform you're using, they do vary. So some get a little bit longer. Instagram, I think, is 23 seconds, but Facebook's only 20 seconds, those kind of things. So there's a little bit of a variation depending on which platform you're using for stories. But if we take Facebook, for example, we've basically got about 20 seconds, but it doesn't mean you have to use all 20 seconds because people get bored if it's the same kind of thing. So you might be able to achieve what you want to achieve in about 10 seconds. Or 15 seconds. There also might be really longer videos that you guys want to share, but you can't because you're doing things sort of 20 seconds by 20 seconds by 20 seconds. I've got an awesome hack for those of you that are in the boot camp of how you can take longer videos that you've taken and break them up beautifully in stories. Okay, so hold that thought, those of you in the boot camp. I'm going to share with you a great hack for videos for Facebook stories. The biggest thing I would probably say with stories, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 is the whole purpose of Facebook stories is to have fun with it. So we don't want Facebook stories to be, something that's serious all the time. You can do so many creative things with stories. There's extra apps I'm going to show you in the boot camp that can make things really fun and interesting and make you guys stand out the crowd because nobody else knows how to do it. So I'm going to show you things that nobody else knows how to do. And you put them in stories and people are like, how did they do that? It's amazing when I put up something different, the messages that I get, how did you do that? But it makes people look interesting. Just think fun. When you think Facebook stories, think fun. That's what we're going for. You can create curiosity, intrigue along the way, but for the most part, we want to have a bit of fun with Facebook stories. So that's definitely an overarching sort of strategy you want to have. And just to highlight to those of you that maybe are not in the know, I think it was Faye maybe asked it before, or somebody else, sorry if I got it wrong. It is on business pages, and you do have different features on business pages. Some of you will have the features and some of you won't, but one of the most awesome features on stories on business pages that you don't get on personal pages is the ability to put in a link. So I could have a link to my free group. I could have a link to the video challenge. I could have a link to my website. I could have a link to a landing page. I could have a link to a sales page, like any kind of URL that you can and sort of create or have, you can have links going straight to that. And so they just, they swipe up and get the link, and then you can lead people to where you want to go. So going back to sort of the number one strategy, have, begin with the end in mind, those kind of stories on business pages where you can link things. So who knows they have that? Just share with me, you guys that are watching live or even on the replay, do you have that link ability? Do you not even know where to look? Do you even use it? Like, do you know that it's there, but you don't use it because you don't know what to link to? It's just a fabulous feature for you guys. Also, that's available on, Instagram as well. So depending on where you're using stories, depending on the age of your phone, you will have some features, you will not. Depending on your type of phone, some of you will have features, some of you won't. The options will look different. So not everything, and keep this in mind over the next 2 days, guys, when I go through more detail about stories in the bootcamp. What I see on my phone and share with you may not necessarily be what you see. So you've got to work with what you've got. Some of you have got music, some of you don't. It's not a cookie cutter across the board. Everybody with every phone, age of phone, type of phone in every country has got every feature. Sorry. Wow, I didn't know that's how to pause a story, so I'm glad that's helpful. Sometimes you just want to pause on it and read it because somebody's put too much information on it, so you can just pause it. Did you call the dentist? So, Olive, I got as far as researching the number. I've just got to call it. So I'll do that after the boot camp. So I've made progress, Olive. I just haven't actually booked an appointment yet. Still don't have that feature yet. Not quite sure which one you're talking to. To the dentist. I'm working on it, Faye. I need to go catch her. No worries, Crystal. Showed my messy place and kids this morning. All in its natural state, and people love this. It's surprised how much people resonate with your mess. It makes them feel, more normal, that they can do it too. If you can do it in a state of mess, somebody else can do it in a state of mess, those kind of things. Looking forward to the video hack. Yep, that'll be a good one. I know about the link. I have it. I've used it occasionally. Okay, good. No, I don't know there to look. Would love to know how to use the link. Okay, Heather. Yes, I have it. Good. Have you used it, Mel? So those of you in the coaching community, I'll go through that in detail and how to use it and how to pull it up and stuff like that. So we've got less than 15 minutes before I'm over in the coaching community to explore this discussion regarding Facebook stories and how to use them and all the creativity around it and the strategy behind it and how you can lead to curiosity about your business and all those kind of things. So those of you in the coaching community, I will see you in less than 15 minutes. The rest of you, I will see you same time tomorrow. Bye.